Greetings, internet drinking buddies. My name is Link,
I'm Chris.
and on this episode of Tubbin and Chugging, we'll be imbibing
Jalovinna.
Jalovinna. Welcome back to the tub, everybody. As you can see, we have a guest returning from the Vodka Challenge episode. It's Chris. Thank you for joining us again, Chris. And it's also a People Bring Me Alcohols from Around the World episode, as I believe this has been brought back from Finland.
That's right.
Okay. Now, obviously, you were on the vodka episode. We drink a lot of vodka together, but I think Brandy is your usual preferred drink. Is that right?
That's right, but this is best of both worlds.
Best of both worlds.
Definitely.
Okay. So it says 38% here, but so we're talking about a little bit of brandy, a little bit of vodka. How's it mixed?
That's right. It's 1 star, so it's 1/3 brandy, 2/3 vodka, and it goes all the way up to 3 stars where it's just the brandy, and even
Got
a
it.
special, which is an aged brandy, as far as I know.
Okay. So is this like a Finnish specific rating system, or how do they do this?
As far as I know, it's somewhat popular in Sweden as well, but definitely mostly popular in Finland. Yeah.
Okay. How'd you get turned on to this specific drink?
Well, I've spent a lot of time in the Baltics, and Finland, they like all kinds of weird drinks. Long drink, for example. We don't really have that right here, but Jalovinna was one. I was in a bar, I was offered a shot, and boy howdy was I happy. It was perfect. Exactly what I wanted.
When you get it as a shot in a bar, is it like a shooter special? Is it like cheaper than the well vodkas, or how does that pricing work out there?
It's definitely not cheaper. It's
Okay.
definitely, unless it's like a homemade concoction or an off-brand, this is the most popular brand. It tends to be more on the pricier side.
Okay.
Yeah.
More on the pricier side for like Finland, or like what you would expect in general?
Probably just Finland.
Okay,
Yeah, it's nowhere near San Francisco prices.
gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. And now, you said this might be like a homemade thing. Is this like a common, every Finnish household's got their own recipe for it type thing? or-
Definitely not. It's
Okay.
more like, up north, it's hard to get like your specific brands, what have you. I've definitely heard of people making their own concoctions with brandies they like, vodkas they like, and even like us, across the seas who don't, we use E&J and Kalashnikov vodka. We don't have what they've got over there.
You put it together that way. So is it more of like you're taking established things, or like you're making your own like house brandy, apple brandy, something like that, and then you mix it in?
Definitely, I've definitely heard of people using apple brandy, for example. That's a really notable thing.
Okay. You said this is the most like popular brand?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there like a reason for that, or is it just...
It's just one of those things. Like there's for example, going back to long drink, there's a brand called Long Drink, and that's the popular one. But there are other long drinks.
Got it.
It's not even native to Finland. This isn't native to Finland. The bottle is written also in Swedish, for example. But this is the one that stuck out.
Fair enough. The main question remains, how are we going to drink this? Are we sipping this? Are we shooting this? What are we doing here?
I've seen it both. I like to sip it just because one bottle's not even enough.
Fair
but
enough.
whatever you're.
Well, let's sip it. Let's enjoy it. Let's pour it out. Why don't you go ahead and pour it? All right. So I've got my on-brand shot glass. You've got your Moscow one. Before we drink, is there like a... does it extend its popularity to Russia? Or is it more native to the...
I've never seen it. Cognac is very popular in Russia, but never mixed.
Okay. Well, fair enough. What do we drink it to?
Well, the Finnish say kippis.
Kippis.
So let's say kippis.
Keepus. We've had a little bit of this before, and you might have been able to notice it was not full as we got this. And I really get that apple scent from it. I didn't know if it was just an apple brandy, but it's fruitier than I would expect it to be.
It's definitely a wine brandy, but it's definitely not your. It's not your cognac. It's not your aged cognac where it's more of a barrel flavor,
Right.
Or more of I don't know what they brew it in the jugs up in
Whoeversville.
yeah Armenia or whatever. But you do get the vodka notes, and it isn't that strong.
Yeah, I think a lot of times I'll say on this show, I barely taste the vodka, that kind of thing. On this, it's there. It's not sharp. It's not pressing, anything like that. It's kind of just in the background as I'm getting the brandy's more up front, which is interesting because you said this is 1 star, so it's 1/3 brandy.
That's right. And when you get up to the 3 star and the 3 star special, I've had that at that gets cracked open at 5 a.m. It's the last one we've got. but it hits a lot harder on those brandy notes because obviously it's just brandy. It's aged brandy. And I quite like brandy, but brandy is heavy. Brandy is sweet, and vodka is so neutral. And it's not a mixed drink.
No.
But it is a mixed set of drinks.
Yeah.
If you like those flavors.
It's kind of like if you get a triple rum concoction kind of thing. It's like you can taste all the individual rums, but it's still like the consistency of one rum. So that's kind of what this is. It's just a little bit of a mix of the flavors. You get both individual notes. It's not like a brown mess, if that makes sense.
And this is definitely not something that everybody drinks plain. A lot of people drink Yellow and Coke, or an off-brand of not Coke, not Jalovinna. Sometimes I think there is I can't be certain, but I think there is a company that puts Jalovinna and Coke, but in the same way that you can get a canned rum and Coke here.
Yeah.
Or in a bar, often I've seen a lot of people do Coke. They don't have that many soda varieties out there, but there are mixed drinks where you can see it in other flavored drinks, other like berry drinks, for example. You definitely see it.
That makes sense. Yeah.
I don't think I've mentioned this yet, but this is my favorite alcohol on the planet.
This specific brand.
Yes, and I bought a lot of this, and as you saw with the beginning of the video, there wasn't much, it was a cracked open bottle. I went through a lot in quite a short time in the Baltics, and I wish I had saved it, but I'm still glad.
So, I mean, it doesn't sound like it's a bad time to be drinking it. Now, one thing I know is that you got it in these, like, the little pocket-sized bottles. Do they not, like, make handles of it, or?
They definitely do 1 liters, and I think up to 1.75 liters. Yeah. And those are also in plastic, PET bottles often. You see them in glass sometimes, and the most often you see is those more expensive bottles of the 3-star special. This you can get for a pretty reasonable price. Often you see these in a 4-pack.
Okay.
I bought this specific bottle in a tax-free shop in Estonia.
Got it.
Which many Finns go to Estonia to buy alcohol, bring it back. And so it's in a 4-pack. I don't know why they wouldn't just do it in a bigger volume, but there's got to be some kind of regulation involved.
Yeah, you see that a lot with, like, Fireball will do, like, a lot of shooters, like, just, 10, 50 milliliter things instead of just a 500 milliliter bottle. And I think it's the same kind of thing of, like, we're not selling you this much alcohol, we're selling you this much alcohol a lot of times.
Right.
So it's probably something to do with that. I'll do a quick glance if that's wrong here, but interesting that they would, like, I don't think I've ever seen 4 little bottles, like, put together like that.
Well, when you eventually come to see these shops, you'll see 36 can pallets of beer, 4.5%. You'll see all kinds of things like this where it's sold in smaller bottles, but large quantities, very large quantities, because most of these people are bringing it back in cars. And I don't think I've ever seen a 2 liter, for example. I'm not 100% sure on the on 1.75, but somewhere in the 1.25, 1.75 range is the largest bottle I've seen in a PET bottle. And so you're better off just getting these packs of 4, 6, 8, and I see a lot of people walking out of the stores with it.
Or maybe you get, the 4-pack of it with you and your 3 buddies, and then you each have one, and you don't have to share a big bottle.
It's true, but sharing the bottle is part of the fun.
Well, that's also true. Any final words on this guy?
If you can get your hands on it, if you're in the area, if you're in Estonia, Latvia, Finland, maybe Russia, I would definitely try it. Try it yourself. Make your own concoction with vodka and brandy, especially ones you like.
It's a very nice combination of flavors that I think, to use a seltzer analogy, it tastes more like a hard soda than like a stevia lemonade seltzer. It's not overtly sugary, although you can taste the sugar in it. Whereas like a big brandy, you just have a brandy, you might find yourself being too heavy with it. Cutting it, in this case, if that makes any sense, with vodka, I think mellows it out to a nice overall taste.
I think you said it well, especially on the bottle. It says in Swedish, it is called cut brandy in Swedish.
There you go. All right.
Perfect way to describe it.
I don't speak Swedish, so I figured that out. As always, let me know if there are other alcohols from around the world that you want to send to me, or like I'll send people on missions to bring back for me. And please Drink responsibly.